welcome back to the Messed Up Movies Podcast, the podcast celebrating movies and filmmakers that embrace the insane, the outrageous, the unhinged, the off-kilter, and the all-around kind of messed up fun you can't take your eyes off of. What's up, everybody? I'm your host, joined as always by my friend, co-host, robot assistant who's voiced by a now-canceled actor.
No. Do not call me the robot assistant, all right? You could have picked any other thing.
He was cool back in the day, and now
we'll get to why.
Don't acknowledge
Griff,
him as much.
let me ask you, do you ever wish that there were multiple copies of you on a 3-year stretch, or you could just recycle yourself every once in a while?
Almost never.
All right, cool.
Never, yeah.
I was going to say, individuality is key, and that's why for $1 a month, all you have to do is give us $1. We'll give you access to our very cool Patreon library, our very cool Discord for Misfit Parade and Messed Up Movies. We've got tons of fun stuff up there. We're doing Black Mirror. We're doing Tales from the Crypt. We're doing new movies. Guys, it is time. It's $1. Let's go.
Yeah, we have tiers that have so much fun stuff there. We're always working to make that better for you guys. Give our patrons a voice in what goes over there. So that's the best way to support the show. Help us grow the show, please. Go to the Misfit Parade YouTube. Subscribe there to see our short films, video version of the pods, many other things there. We're on all the socials you're on, including TikTok, Instagram, all the good stuff. Find us there. We ask, guys, if you would, send an episode, a TikTok, a short, a YouTube reel, whatever the fuck they're called, to a movie-loving friend. Let them know what we're up to, especially post-changeover, and we will take it from there, guys. That is the absolute best thing you could do to help this show grow, and the Patreon. But those two probably tied. That would mean the world to us. 5-star ratings, reviews, wherever you find pods. MisfitParade.com so you can keep track as we continue to produce our first movie, Mr. Cream Jeans Hidey Hole. We would love the support. All right. This month, May, rebirth, new life, right? We are here at the start of our kind of spring-summer journey, right?
Sure. Our sojourn.
Today we go to the coldest, most far-flung landscape vista this month. And we talk about what is a rebirth of sort, but a rebirth of self in 2009's Moon, starring Sam Rockwell. Alex, would you like to hit us with the deets?
Hell yeah. Moon is a 2009 science fiction film, the directorial debut of David Bowie's eldest son, Duncan Jones. Written by Nathan Parker. It follows Sam Rockwell as Sam Bell, a man who experiences a personal crisis as he nears the end of a 3-year solitary stint mining helium-3 on the far side of the moon. So the world has figured out that we're going to run out of oil eventually. And they're like, oh, there's also this cool shit on the other side of the moon called helium-3 that essentially is like irradiated rocks.
Yes.
And it produces Tesla level of energy, so they're cool with it. The co-star for this film, which, by the way, I don't know about you, but really recontextualizes far creepier this time, is an AI robot. Let's see, would you call it an AI or just a robot?
It's kind of a hyper-intelligent robotic assistant.
Yeah. It's sort of like a HAL, although...
But it has decision-making processes.
Has decision-making. It's a HAL, essentially, but way worse, in the voice of Kevin Spacey.
Yeah. And this was another weird thing, because in the movie, GERTY is a very noble soul, right? As we watch the kind of confusion of the value of humanity, you see this very stripped-down version of a life form, right? GERTY, that just says, hey, I've got one directive. Help Sam and make his life better.
Yeah.
And there is something soothing about Kevin Spacey's voice. You're like, God damn, remember before all the crimes were unfurled?
It is
Remember
one of those
before
really,
he made those creepy ass Christmas videos?
It
like
really
it's
is one of
simple
those
time.
unsettling things. Like you're just like, oh, context really is everything. Because before any of that, I would have been like, oh, Kevin Spacey, good get. Now I'm like, ooh, creepier.
Yeah.
Good lord.
Glad you left him on the moon. Yikes. Just didn't age well. And also Matthew Berry's in the movie as like
Matthew
a blurry
Berry,
little
Benedict
like video
Wong.
call guy.
Yeah.
It's like, God, if you had just switched those. Just Matthew Berry's the robot and Kevin Spacey's the corporate evil overlord. This movie's aged like fine wine. So essentially the tale of the story is, right, Sam Rockwell's about to go home. Due to an accident, he wakes up in the lab. He's a little groggy. Something's going on. He's not supposed to leave the base, right? They're like, you can't leave. You're too valuable. You might be concussed, whatever. he leaves the base to go see what may or may not have happened out at this harvester, this giant fucking machine, like a giant combine for space, that he went under the blades. When he goes in, he finds an astronaut in that exact wreck where we left him before he woke up, only to find out it is indeed him. It is a clone of him, and that he may in fact also be a clone. And a lot of this movie takes place in this battle over self. Who am I? What is my purpose? Well, what is my purpose if I'm just here over and over and over again? And the movie is this kind of very still meditative look at this, right? This is not as bombastic a sci-fi as you would imagine with this premise, right? So what did you make of Sam Rockwell slowly unfurling the mysteries of the space station?
I mean, I think when it comes to a movie, so this is like a really, by the way, for a science fiction film, is super low budgeted. This movie was made for like $5 million.
And probably all of that went to outer space shit.
Yeah, like they recycled sets from the BBC series Red Dwarf, apparently. Like there's things that, like, they were thrifty as hell. Which is cool, by the way. It doesn't look bad at all.
No, it looks great.
I think what's interesting, and again, the strength of this movie, everything that's great about this movie rests on Sam Rockwell, which, if you're going to rest something on...
What's the only thing that would make a Sam Rockwell movie better? Another fucking Sam Rockwell.
Another Sam Rockwell.
Yeah, like, another Sam Rockwell.
So you have two Sam Rockwells playing off each other. Again, like, it's...
That, I gotta say...
He's just
as an acting exercise, I think that's way more difficult than people give it credit for, because Sam Rockwell so effortlessly pulls it off in this film. I will say Sam Rockwell is one of those... I don't think there's a safer bet for me that you see an actor is going to be in a show or a movie, and you're like, 1,000% I'm going to enjoy that. Yeah. Like, Sam Rockwell might be the best bet in Hollywood to me.
This just happened to me. Andrea's watching The White Lotus, and last week or 2 weeks ago, I don't know who else. If you're behind, I don't give a shit. Apparently, Sam Rockwell shows up, and I'm like,
this is going to play in like a month. So, yeah.
And I'm like, well, now I got to watch The White Lotus. Like, it's just one of those things. I'm like, if he shows
Sam
up,
Rockwell
I have
and
to watch.
Walton Goggins,
it is quite literally a thing where, like, I hate Jimmy Fallon. He is on Jimmy Fallon. I'm like, okay, I got to watch Sam Rockwell and Jimmy Fallon. Like, I don't do those
are really
things
like
for
the ends of the spectrum. Jimmy Fallon might be as much as I hate someone who's not committed heinous Kevin Spacey-like crimes.
Yeah.
And Sam Rockwell's like the most lovable guy.
I legitimately, it's just one of those fascinating things that is, he's just so good. And I think for a long time, he was just one of those character actors you hired. Because I remember him from The Green Mile. Like, he was great in The Green Mile. Like, he's just one of those guys you get. I mean, for those of us who really remember him, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You know, like, he was just one of those guys you had at clutch to get. He
doesn't have like a traditional leading man kind of look. He looks like normal guys you would meet, right?
I mean, I remember him best. Like, the first time I really marked him was when he did that Charlie's Angels thing. And holy shit, what a villain turn. Like, it was one of those things you're like, damn, dude, I
think the movie for me that, like, really solidified him, I remember the way back being like, man, I love this man. Like, I liked him in other shit before. I think that's the movie where I, like, fell head over heels.
But in terms of Moon, like, this is this incredible performance where, one, he's doing it against himself. He's doing two versions of Sam Bell the whole time. One that's like this version that's like rotting from the inside out, who's like weirdly still to the end, like what, like it's like almost to a point naively optimistic about a lot of stuff still. And then like the version of him that was just woken up, he's like, oh, this sucks. Also, I can't play ping pong. Like,
well, let's stop there for a
so
sec.
Good
because we just saw this in a newer movie, Mickey 17, right, where Pattinson plays duplicates of himself.
Yeah.
And one of the bits in that movie is that the Mickey 17 we're following is kind of this nice, amicable, like kind of a pushover guy. And Mickey 18 comes out and he's all fucking hardcore, right? He's like emo Batman teenager Robert Pattinson. And it's good, but and you're like, yeah, I'm digging this. And then you watch Moon and you're like, like Rockwell just did it so much better. And what I love is because there is this kind of inherent thing where they talk about as they replicate and clone. There are these we're such a complex genetic organism, right? Mm-hmm. That there are like small little details that change here and there, and so each Sam Bell becomes replicated slightly different in ways, right? And that can compound as they keep coming out. Right. What I love about the movie, because it starts and when Sam Rockwell comes back in, and he kind of looks like the schlubby, beat up Sam Rockwell, and new Sam Rockwell's doing the fucking Rocky, like the jump ropes and the punching bag. I was like, oh no. Oh, okay. We're doing like tough guy Sam Rock. Like, oh no. And they start like butting heads, right? And they fight and this and that. What I love is that by the end of the movie, the very core of Sam Bell comes out. And the two characters essentially merge into the same guy while still maintaining some of that uniqueness. And I think that's the beauty, is it's not Sam Rockwell playing two, like one he's like everything he's mad out. The very core of this man is the same in both. Just
it's pretty fascinating.
Lensed.
Like it's like this really amazing journey. Because again, like for a confined space, really specific set pieces, you'd think like that would be the star of the show a lot of the time. And, you know, not to say that that's how sci-fi works, because it's not, but like science fiction is also pretty visual. Like there's a lot of visual medium going into science fiction that like you're like, oh, I'm going to see something I haven't seen before, that kind of thing.
Well, this is a movie like, had this happened on like Dr. Moreau's Island, exactly the same film. Like the moon setting actually offers nothing really, except for the theory that
that's
they
what
can't
I'm getting
call
at
home.
is what's so fascinating about the science fiction of it all is like it's almost kind of like perfunctory, and you're just like, yeah, I get it. We're on the moon, thanks. Yeah. Like
it's just cloning. It's a cool setting for a clone, and it's visually fun.
It's a cool setting. It isolates a character, so you don't wonder if anyone's going to ever show up. You're like, great. I understand the rules like almost immediately without even the movie even starting. You understand the rules. Moon, desolate, probably. Like there's such built-in knowledge that when you start getting the information about how the Sams are replicated, how they're created, that kind of thing, that's the science fiction that you're interested in for approximately 5 minutes before you get right back to just caring about Sam Bell. Like it's really the trick of the movie is all that.
There's one moment to me where the sci-fi really sells a big emotional beat, right? Because they start going out past where they've ever been before. Yeah. Because, you know, tough guy Sam is like, I heard GERTY talking to the people. They were on a live call. Like, they thought I was passed out, and I heard them 100% talking about me. And he's like, no, you're crazy. We can't. Like, the satellite got injured. And I think that's the element that the sci-fi helps a little bit, right? Is this, how do you know why do you just believe a satellite's there? Like, this is a shady corporation. They drive out a little bit past. And in what is probably my favorite beat in the whole movie is Sick Sam brings this little phone, right? And he's going to call Tess. Because one of the running motifs of the film is that he has these pictures of Tess, right? These videos of Tess. We learn that he kind of had this explosive temper. His wife was pregnant. He takes this 3-year thing on the moon. So we can extrapolate. Things were very fucking bad if you're leaving as you're about to have a baby. There's a picture of him touching her stomach. He's going to leave when they're having a baby. Things are not good, right? Unless the real Sam Bell never went and they're all clones. Neither here nor there. We don't learn that till the end. He goes out and he's going to call Tess. And his daughter answers, right? And it's Effie from Skins, right? And he's like, hey, is Tess there? Is this the Bell residence? Yeah. And it goes, oh, sorry, she died years ago. And he goes, are you sure? And he's fucking trying to hold us together. And she's like, yeah, I'm her daughter. And he goes, Evie? Evie, what happened to mommy? What happened to mommy? And then he hears the real Sam Bell in the back. It's like, who's asking about mommy?
Dude, yeah.
And it's this moment, and he closes the thing, and he starts breaking down. And to me, this is like the Sam Rockwell, I can go up the next level, and it's just, I want to go home. That's enough. That's enough. I want to go home. And we see him in his little tiny fucking rover. And way out in the night sky is this giant fucking planet Earth. Right? So it really pulls us very far away from all the things that matter to us as humans. In that moment, the science fiction, or the setting at least, of the moon, because that's not even a sci-fi thing. That's the Odyssey. That's a classic story.
No, yeah. I mean, to me,
but that just is such an emotionally devastating 15 years, at least, since the first mission. Oh, that one killed me.
It's that desolation. Yeah, when he hits the pad, like, I want to go home. Like, this whole thing, I'm like, damn, dude, that is the reality of, I mean, like, I've never been anywhere 3 years away from my family, but like, that's that is like the reality of isolation in general. When like when you feel alone, there's nothing there's nothing else. And I think that like when you see a big blue marble in the background and you're like, that's where I should be.
Everything I want is over. Like, this is the thing, 'cause this is the difference if it's a jungle or Dr. Moreau. There's not even like an animal he can make companion with.
Yeah.
He can't like chase a monkey. He can't watch the same fish every day. There is no fucking life. The thing the moon does add is that nothing should be here, let alone 100 copies of one person. Because there's that great moment too when the other Sam and him he's like, hey man, I want to apologize for losing my shit. And he's like, right on, whatever. And he goes, hey man, because he's talking to his plan. He's like, you talking to yourself? You gone crazy? And he's like, hey, thanks for saving my life. I'm so lonely. Can you just shake my hand? And the other Sam's like, gross, weird. Don't want to do that. And in that moment, to me, that's the other thing. Like, this imagine 3 years, and the only life form you've spoken to is a sex offender, robot.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, and every time you get put under, God only knows what kind of
God
probes
only
are
knows
happening.
what's going on.
And it's terrifying, right? And just the simple, even this earth-shattering revelation that you are one in a series. You're not going home. This is not the end of 3 years and you're going to go see
not
her.
only
it's just you. And even in that moment where everything he wants and believes and loves and cherishes and have held out for are gone.
Right.
Still just one human touch is what keeps him in the mission.
The other thing about that crushed me this time was like thinking about this whole concept, like even at the end, like both Sams want to go home. And the one that's like quietly deteriorating the whole movie. Like just to have that mechanism inside your brain, even though the game, the jig is up, like the whole thing is a farce. To have that mechanism in your brain, that longing for home, still, even knowing this, I mean, that is a torture beyond comprehension to me. Like there's something about it's
unbearable,
incalculable.
And even the moment we see, because he goes on the computer, and GERTY helps him like get the passwords, right? And he's like, why are you helping me? And he's like, well, my job is to make your life better. Real groomer shit, right? And then he watches all these other Sams deteriorate. And at the end of 3 years, essentially that's the lifespan. At the end of 3 years, they all go in what they think is this escape pod, and it's an incinerator. And he watches multiple versions of himself get incinerated. This leads to them finding the chamber of Sam's, right? And he watches that. And at the end, they're coming up with this plan. They're like, we got to go here. We got to do this. And he just is, hey, like, it's a great plan, man. And this is where Sam Rockwell, maintaining that incredible charm and cadence while performing against himself, and he's just like, hey, it was a great plan, man. I love that for you. You just picked the wrong Sam. And he's like, they got to find a dead body in that rover, or they're just wasting all of us and they'll restart. And he sees in himself this angry younger version of himself that still has some virality. And he knows this is going to happen in 3 years, even if that guy makes it back to Earth. Yeah. He, traumatizes his daughter. The real Sam Bell has to kill him as he makes it back. Like, are we to assume this the first time this ever happened? We don't know, right? He still is like, hey, man, I'll do that for you. And so the idea that this whole story is about him longing to get back, to see, to hear. He's rebuilding this by hand wooden recreation of his hometown Fairfield, right? For that version of Sam that we started the story with, to then say the best thing I can do in this moment is go back where I should have died. And he sits in there. And they don't kill him. He just sits in there. He's alive and watches the pod take off carrying other Sam. Yeah. As he slowly is just going to rot and die in there. You know, whether that's an hour, 2 hours, whatever. We see by the end of the film, they find his dead body. But for him to have to make that choice that at least some part of me can even go back, I thought was one of those beautiful kind of cloning thought experiments, right? Because in reality, Sam Bell is at home with his daughter, right?
There's no other Sam Bell. There's just Sam Bell. Like, it's just copies.
Yeah.
But that, like, same feeling, again, like, just that, this, overall thinking like these clones all feel the same things, but none of them have the life expectancy, but also Sam, like the new Sam Bell that goes to Earth, knows he has 3 years. You know, like it's one of those things where you just see this stuff and the way that's like characterized and the way it's built within the like rules of the movie that you're like, Jesus Christ, like that yearning is so strong. It's fascinating, man. Like it really is like one of those acting exercises, but also just character exercises where even though he's a clone, it's like I have to get home.
Where there's that point where he talks to GERTY and GERTY's like, you know, he's like, are you going to be fine? He's like, GERTY offers to erase the hard drive and the video footage, which again, you're like, this would be red flags, right? But who cares? It's impossible to think about. You don't want to worry about unraveling this one too much. And he sits there and GERTY, you know, does this. I'll fix it. I'll protect you, whatever. And he's like, are you going to be okay, GERTY? And he goes, yeah, me and Sam will wake up and we'll be right back in our program. And he's like,
right.
We're not programs. We're human beings. All of us, every one of those guys down in those drawers is a human being, right? Even if it is a replica of a human being, they still have all that shit that makes us human. They still have the memory implants. They still have the longing, right? As we watch him spit up blood and teeth and this and that, that's the stuff of us.
Yeah.
And that yearning this movie sells that so beautifully. And I like that this movie doesn't go super glib, super action espionage. It's not like we'll take down the corporation is like a tag at the very end as we see.
It's a straight
it's like a voiceover, right?
Yeah.
Literally
it's just like
about
recap.
Two clones looking at each other and trying to figure out what this
let's
means.
Get home. Let's try to get home. Like those are things that are so universal. I think this is the thing that's always key to great science fiction too. Is sci-fi takes place in another world. It's another thing that none of us have
chaotic and
experienced
unpredictable
before.
future. Yeah.
Yeah. Or past, as you know, sometimes it goes. Star Wars. But those things, the things that we all feel in the core of ourselves, which is the longing, the search for connection, the search for love, like whatever kind of love you're thinking of, except for Spacey type.
Yeah, that's the one.
Like the search, like just the constant searching. I think this is the thing that I like most about science fiction movies is the search for anything. Is what I like. This internal struggle for that searching is when it's done well like this, it becomes the movie rather than it being about, oh, how are we going to get out of this predicament? It's like, we know he's not going to get out of the predicament. It's more like, how is he going to feel okay? How's he going to be okay at the end of this?
Well, just how is he going to assert his humanity?
Yeah.
Right? Like there's 3 years. There's no happy ending for any of these Sams. It is, how do they assert that they are, in fact, a unique human being and not just organic replications, right?
Right.
And again, the best science fiction films, to me, always come down to these character moments. It's not about this big world, right? And the dystopian nightmares, right? How do we exist in this world? It's what still matters to a human being and the human spirit in the midst of these far-flung, nightmarish landscapes. If you don't do that, and I'm just fighting against like a repressive overlord or robots or aliens or whatever, okay, that can be fun too. These are the classics, though, that ask me, what would I feel in this moment?
I think I don't, like, this is something, it came out...
2009.
This came out in 2000. So, like, the one that I actually felt, it was weird watching it, too, because I was watching it, and I realized, like, I'm like, where have I seen, like, recently, I was like, not clones the same way, but, like, this sort of, like, time loss, this time dilation, this one for connection. This is going to be weird. My kid loves watching Lightyear, that movie that came out like a year
Buzz
and a half ago
Lightyear?
or whatever. Yeah, the Buzz Lightyear movie with Chris Evans. And I realized, like, oh my God, like these themes. And I've said this, that like Pixar doesn't make movies for kids anymore. But I realized watching Moon today, I was like, oh my God, these themes are like in.
They just all have these cherubic faces and giant asses that kids like.
Kids like, and the rest of the parents are just like quietly.
Disney moms that got the dump trucks.
Yeah, Disney moms got the dumpers. But like, I realized watching Moon today, I was like, oh my God, my kid is like loves this Lightyear movie. I'm like, this is like a similar longing, this theme of like search for connection and like the hope that you can get home to see the people you love. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
My 5-year-old kid is like quietly becoming like when he watches Moon much later in life, he goes, oh, I've seen this before. It's like Lightyear. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, I just saw the inverse of this in Mickey 17, where Mickey 17 is the same thing, but a lot of times the kind of sci-fi gets in the way of that humanity, right? Despite the incredible performances, right? And again, I think the fact that this movie stayed away from what had to be an instinct.
Oh, totally.
To go bigger, to add some bombast, right?
The
once
Zig
they have that
versus
first
Zag
fight scene, you think it's like, oh, this is going to be a paranoia, 2 guys with cabin fever thing. And that dissipates. And then we just sink into this inevitability of the film. And there's something about the inevitability and the finite lifespan of these clones that actually has us really searching for the tenderness of those moments, right? It makes those moments so much more grandiose than they might be in an ordinary kind of film just set in suburbia, right? Because we know we're at the end and that no one cares about these guys. We don't know how many Sams are just fucking dust up on the moon.
Yeah.
Right? Getting spit up by harvesters as they're fucking dragged around.
Okay. There's this really poignant moment. So when he goes into the chamber where they basically like tell, hey, you're going home. See you later. And they
thank you for your service.
They incinerate them. He like digs. He like when he goes to the ground and looks around the incinerator bed and sees the vacuum hose hole, and there's just like little dust. Like there's something about that that's so poignant. You're like, whoa, this is a man. Not only like this is like doubly faced with your mortality. Not only do you know you have a shortened lifespan, but also like there's your dead bodies right there.
Yeah.
Like
your job is horseshit. Everyone you ever loved is gone. You're literally sweeping away the dust of one of your past corpses. It's insane.
It's fucking nuts,
open
man.
those beds,
but
and Sam just goes, "Why are there so many?"
Yeah,
and you're just like, "Oh, like the weight of that revelation is startling."
And that I think is so. That's the Zig versus Zag. Every chance you have to zag in this movie, Duncan Jones zigs, which I think is to its credit because this is another great example of like movies that don't have enough money to make the movie that maybe like another director would make. For a $5 million science fiction movie that takes place on the moon, this movie does such a good job with the tools it has.
Well, also those limitations might have made this a dramatically better movie.
Those limitations make this movie work. Like that's the
I
whole
100%
point.
agree. Yeah,
that's the benefit of like great low budget filmmaking. Like this $5 million is not low budget, but like low budget filmmaking, especially in science fiction land. Like
I know I keep saying Mickey 17, but that was like what 300 million. Like
it was a lot of money.
There's a big difference when you're doing entire landscapes and CG, spaceships, rovers, spacesuits. Like that shit adds up in a budget so insanely fast. Yeah.
And I mean, and look, not saying Bong Joon-ho is like a bad director. He's a fucking great director.
One of the all-time best, yeah.
One of the all-time greatest directors. But like, that's the difference of having a bunch of money at your disposal and going, all right, we can't do that.
Sometimes one of the best things that happens to a filmmaker or a creative person is that someone says no to something.
I think the power of no when it comes to filmmaking is... That really is like where that's the rubber meets the road moment for great filmmakers, I think, because what you see in filmmakers who don't do well with no when it comes to budgeting and stuff like that is those guys spin out of control. They make movies like, sorry, Josh Trank, but Fantastic Four and like those are the kind of things that happen. Yeah. But like,
well, also you never have to like stop and be like, we have a real problem here.
Yeah, we're gonna run out of money.
What do we
instead
need at the core of this story to make it work? So you just inherently you burn off bloat when people say no.
That's exactly what it is. You have a lean, and that's how you come together with a lean. Like this movie's what like. At best, 100 minutes, I think.
Yeah, it's 130,
97 minutes long.
Yeah, and to be fair, I would love to make movies where no one said no to me as well. I get it.
Yeah,
it would
must
be great. Be the greatest thing of all time.
It must be awesome to be Christopher Nolan and no one say no.
Yeah,
but like Christopher Nolan also didn't always have these huge budget movies. Like
that's an earned privilege.
Yeah, like
and Duncan Jones maybe could have gotten that until Warcraft. You know, that kind of took away the card.
But like Christopher Nolan also made Following only on weekends, 2 days a week for like 6 months straight. Like those kinds of things, like that's an earned privilege.
Yeah.
But to that point though, those like when you make a movie where people are having to, like, not even saying no, but just like the matter of fact, it's just that's not even the world, but the process of movie making is saying no. Mm-hmm. Creative problem solving is what makes movies that like this much better. And again, like when you don't have something technological to build on, instead you lean so hard into like the one thing you have that's no other movie has, which is Sam Rockwell. Like that, I think that's the coolest thing in the whole movie. And, you know, this is a movie with a lot of cool shit. When you have Sam Rockwell playing against Sam Rockwell, wow. Like,
A+.
This movie should have been I know he won an Oscar eventually, but, like, he should have. This is at least a nomination.
I mean,
right?
To me, this is an Oscar-level performance, right? Yeah. Even if he did not win this, that, and the other. I'd have to go look at who was nominated. I do want to ask you a question. There is a question at the end of the movie that I was left pondering, and I thought to save it for the pod.
Sure.
Twice in the movie early, we see like a beautiful Latino-looking woman in a yellow dress, right? He sees this ghostly woman in the station.
Yeah.
And as he's kind of getting blinded by the sun and he's going up to get the you know, helium 3-pack or whatever from the harvester, he sees this ghostly figure again in the dust, right? And he's kind of watching that, which leads him to go under the churning blades. Who is that woman, do you think?
I thought about this, actually. It's funny you bring this up because I had this sort of conversation.
Because it is weird. After that harvester, she just does not come back.
I think a lot about
Unless I missed it.
No, I didn't see it either. I mean, like, she's wearing sort of a yellow dress. Like when he sees her
daughter.
No, it's not the daughter. But when he sees her, like, in the pad, let's say, whatever you want to call it.
In the crib.
In the crib. Such a fucking nerd. When he sees him in his, like, living quarters, she's in that chair that has, like, that sort of... This is a real 2001 feel. I think what it is this hallucination of... It's sort of like that blue fairy hallucination. Mm-hmm. Like, you're... Like, it's someone... It's like that indicator. It's not even an important indicator for the character, like, within the context of the universe. Like, what it is for the audience to know... time is running out. I don't know how else to describe it. Like, it is this weird marker that sort of just gets left on the cutting room floor. But I think it works because what you're telling the audience when you have it that early in the movie is you're saying these things aren't real. Something is amiss. Like, there's something that's... He's not even that he's forgetting something. It's something that he's missing. And it could be another person that he was with or something like that. So
walk this theory through with me, right?
Sure.
This happens to original Sam. Well, our original Sam.
Right.
As he's nearing the end of his 3 years. He's about to go home, right? He's getting a shave, a haircut. He's about to return to his life. Right. We see a lot of fantasies of him and Tess, right? Them banging, them in bed, this, that, and the other, right? So I kept wondering, why see this woman? Why is she the woman he's seeing and not Tess, right? Why is she the one he sees before, like the portent of doom, before he goes under those blades? And she's dressed in this, like, beautiful yellow, like, evening gown kind of thing,
I think
right?
the color of the dress is important.
So I heard this once, and this could be utter bullshit. This was in the age before Google where people just said wild shit at a bar, and you're like, why would people make those things up? I'm sure it's all true. Kind of like our parents do now with Facebook news stories they don't read. They're just like,
of course.
Not true. But someone told me once that they did these psychological studies, and that if you put someone in a room and all the walls are painted yellow, that they will go insane faster than other colors. And I was like, cool, that sounds awesome. I was like, I never stopped to be like, who sanctioned this study? Where are these fucking poor color mad people that we've invented? But it was just a cool thing I heard, right? I think she is a woman he had an affair with that started this big breakdown of the family unit. This was the anger. This might have been the drinking, the going out and partying. And then he's confronted with that. She's like, I don't want to do this with you if this is who you are. As she knows she's pregnant and about to have a kid. I think she is the affair. And I think the ghost of her is appearing now because even when he goes back to the fantasy of Tess and the daughter and whatever on Earth, there is this specter of all of the mistakes he made. And I think a lot of this movie is Sam asking, I went up here as almost like a purgatory to rebuild and pay for my sins. Have I actually changed and changed for the better? And so to me, I think she's the other woman.
Okay.
Does that track at all?
Sure. I have no way of knowing because it's never mentioned anywhere else in the story that he was cheating on her.
Yeah, you have to really chew on some context clues to try to come up with it.
For me, sure, I could totally buy that. I think the other thing for me would be the significance of her wearing yellow for me is a caution. Like, this is the end. Like, we're seeing, because, you know, new Sam Bell.
We're almost to red light.
We're almost to red light. So, like, for me, it's a caution of, like, hey, like, you know, because it's one of those things I also think about, like, maybe it's something that GERTY knows, like, oh, I saw someone. Or, like, when GERTY's like, are you talking to someone? Who are you talking to? Like, that kind of thing. That's how GERTY knows, oh, this is the end of the cycle. Like, we're going to have to.
Every Sam's. Oh, I like that. Every Sam has seen this woman.
So, yeah, I mean, like, to me, that's what's. Because anything that.
Because GERTY's kind of like a bitch, like, Sam, burn your hand, huh?
Yeah.
He's like, how'd it happen? Oh, he's like, I was watching Mary Tyler Moore reruns and I got shocked. And he goes, oh, weird. When I came
but the TV wasn't on. What's going on?
It's kind of like
what's your fucking business?
I used to hate my dad did this, right? Like, when I clearly, like, did something wrong and I was in trouble, he'd come in the room and just kind of saunter in and sit down and be like, huh, what happened last night? And I'd be like, nothing. Be like, really? And he would do this, like, passive-aggressive, like, huh, strange. What about this? And I'd be like, well, I don't, and I just keep lying. And we knew we were going to do this dance where he was going to ask me cunty questions and I was going to give him cunty replies. And it's like, he could have just said, hey, I know exactly what you did last night and I've got receipts. And I'd be like, fuck, busted. But we always did this dance, and GERTY doing that too does belie this. GERTY's like, why? Why must I do this with every... Yeah. This is the 38th Sam. I've done this song and dance.
I mean, like, for me, Sam Bell 17 being like, oh, I didn't burn my hand. I was watching TV. Like, those kinds of things, which is like...
One Sam was like bent over a pillow and is like, Lady in Yellow again. He's like, no, get out of my room.
No, it wasn't me. Like, that's why Sam Bell 18 hasn't seen it, because, you know, it's just one of those things where, you know, you're not thinking about... Again, I think... You know, and that's the logical version. I very much like your interpretation, though.
I think it makes sense because she's there at the end. Sure. And then once he has another Sam to fill the void, we don't see her again. And now it's all about reclaiming the core values. And then we see more of Tess. Like, there's that beautiful moment where he puts sick Sam Rockwell in the bed and puts his little hat on.
Yeah.
And in my brain, I was like, ew, don't, like, he's going to be dead in a day. Don't put him in your bed. Gross. Like, how many sheets do you have up there? Yuck. Right? But he's just, like, being really sweet. And OG Sam's like, you know, I'm really scared here, man. And he's just like, don't worry, dude, it'll be fine. And it's not that it'll be fine. It's that it's not going to last much longer. You can't
stop it.
And so I think at that point, that lady and the mistakes of your life are put out of your mind. And I think at the very end, if we're lucky, we sit there and really get to run back through
I like that.
The things that matter most to us, and we hold those the closest as we are running out of time. If we're lucky, right? Not everyone gets that chance. He could have just run under those blades and been in a helium 3-pack. So that to me was how I kind of saw this specter in the middle of the movie.
I like that, though. I mean, personally, I think it works either way. Like, it can be outward signifier, or, I mean, internally it just works. It just works internally if it's like this, it's this like haunting regret. Yeah. And again, and that actually makes me think again about just all of these Sams all have this piece. Mm-hmm. All of them. Like, every single one of them has this piece that is filled with regret, sees this woman, you know, filled with this longing to be home. There's something that is so haunting. Yeah. In ways that I think are just so, like, that's next level filmmaking. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I was so, because I remember when I saw this in theaters, I was kind of just meh. Mm-hmm. Like, it didn't land on me a lot. And again, I think this is one of those movies, when I saw this, 15 years ago? Mm-hmm. I was at a dramatically different point in my life. Yeah. And I was like, who fucking cares? Like, where's the sci-fi stuff? Where's the action? Where's the fun and games? Yep. And I wasn't introspective enough yet. Watching this now at the phase I'm at, right, where I'm a dad, I often feel like I'm closer to the end of my life than the start of it. I do a lot of pondering, like, what have I done in life? Like, what do I want to leave as, my mark? And will any of it matter? Now I'm in that headspace where I moon a lot, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And when you watch this now, this movie was so much more effective to me as a viewer now than it was when I saw it in the theaters. Because I was just like, it was cool. But it didn't have enough, like, meat on the bone for me. Because I was a younger guy who wanted the Matrix, right? I was like, where's the fucking digital karate? Like, where's the good sci-fi stuff? And as I've aged, I was like, this is the good sci-fi stuff to me now, right? Moon is the best sci-fi stuff to me.
I think there's one other aspect of this movie that is like the perfect alchemy to make this perfect sci-fi. And I don't know how you feel about this. Clint Mansell's score is unbelievable. Oh
my God, dude. I know you're like a huge Clint Mansell fan.
I've seen him live. He's amazing.
Beautiful. The music in this movie is incredible.
Yeah.
I'm not musically gifted enough to like dissect movie music.
I'm not
on
either.
The pod
I just
the way I wish I could. But I will say, like, multiple times you're sitting and just bathing in the sounds of this movie. Mm-hmm. Fucking incredible.
So Clint Mansell did this show at the Largo, probably in like 2010 or 11, and he played the Moon score live, and it is like, it was a hair-raising experience. Like, it was just one of those things, like, you're fresh out of film school, you're like, oh yeah, those kinds of moments, like that, going to see like John Williams stuff at the Bowl, like those.
So I've seen John Williams. Holy shit!
Those musical experiences, just any idiosyncrasies you have as a film appreciator, a filmmaker, a writer, anything, all of them are just like, it's like someone washes your brain and you're like, just experience this. And you're just, it's every time I hear the Moon soundtrack, The Fountain, Requiem for a Dream.
Okay, so here, I pulled up a list. I don't know if these are all his movies because this seems insane. But
I can tell you probably.
So Stoker.
Yep.
Right? The Wrestler.
Yep.
Black Swan.
Yep. He's done all Aronofsky.
Love Lies Bleeding, which was fucking great. That came out last year. In the Earth is a really awesome movie that I fucking love.
Yep.
That I think got a little overlooked. You're just like Smoking Aces, The Fountain, the classic Faster with The Rock. No, I'm just kidding. One of these is not like the others. Ghost in the Shell, just banger after banger.
The Rebound with fucking Catherine Zeta-Jones. My God.
Knock Around Guys, back when they were but knock around boys.
Doom. Come on.
I mean, okay, not everything's perfect. Sometimes you need a paycheck. But dude, like his top like 10 soundtracks are scores.
Yeah.
Correction, scores.
They're unbelievable though.
Fucking incredible shit.
Yeah.
Like incredible. And him and Aronofsky's like the premier
Clint
pairing.
Mansell's first scoring job was Pi. That sets the tone right there.
Pretty good.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, it's just, but Moon particularly is so, it does such a good job of being ethereal yet syncopated perfectly. Like
it captures the desolation.
It captures so perfectly.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's incredible.
Incredible work. All right, Alex.
I love it.
What was the most messed up moment in Moon?
I'm in. For me, it's the phone call. Like, you're just like,
it
holy
has to be the phone call. Because he escapes these towers. He thinks he's at the end of his life. He's coughing up blood.
It's a straight up reset.
He's like, I'm going to call my wife and say goodbye. Only to find out she's been dead for years. And his daughter, who he thinks is 2 or 3, is now like a 15-year-old woman. Like on the verge. And he realizes the life he lost, the life he was waiting 3 fucking years for, will never be his. He has to hear the voice of original Sam talking over the call. The emotional devastation of him just saying, that's enough. That's enough. I want to go home. And that little rover is Earth is so giant in the sky right there, and he'll never get there.
It's unbelievable. Like it is.
It's one of the most crushing science fiction moments of my life.
And there's a lot of crushing science fiction moments, by the way.
This one is so just personal and human. It has nothing to do with anything other than just like, imagine.
It's just you, yeah.
I did something so like I could be a good dad, and like gone. Someone else's dad. Like, the kid's already grown. The woman I love is
Even
dead.
crazier, it's not even someone else's dad, it's I'm dad.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
not
dad.
Like,
right?
Jesus Christ, the mind fuck is unbelievable. Oh, it's so messed up.
Yeah, because
oh
at one
God.
point you're like, maybe I'm happy that, like, some version of me is happy.
Yeah.
But also you feel so cheated, so useless. You are literally a cog in this evil corporation's operation. And that one is one of those, it just so perfectly sells the enormity of what has been taken from these clones by lying to them that there is this fucking happy ending at the end of the rainbow, and there just never will be. And it makes you feel so alone, like the character.
It's such a
fucking
quiet,
crushing.
vacant moment. You're like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you're just like, I'm gonna go cry. I don't even want to watch the rest of the movie. This is all bad. But yeah, I think we agree. That has to be by
That's
miles
gotta be it, right?
the most messed up moment.
Other than the
That's it.
fact that Kevin Spacey is, the
well, whatever
the
GERTY was
proprietor.
doing in those in-between sleeping sessions probably
Yikes.
would have made it had we seen any of that. Thank God we didn't, because that's evidence
God.
now. Yeah, that's evidence in a court trial, as I remember. That's it for Moon. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I love the rest of these May movies we have lined up. So much fun stuff for you. So, guys, please go to the Messed Up Movies Podcast Patreon. You can hear our mini-series about the new Black Mirror season on Netflix. Tales from the Crypt, exclusive episodes every month that our listeners get to vote on. Join the community. Get a voice in the community. Help us grow this show. We thank you. Go to Misfit Parade on YouTube. Subscribe there to see our short films, our video version of the pods, all kinds of stuff over there we're working on. We would love you to do that. MisfitParade.com to keep track of Mr. Cream Jean's hidey hole as we finish that movie. Make sure you send a pod, a TikTok, a reel, whatever to a friend who loves movies. Let them know what we're doing. We would appreciate that. And as always, 5-star ratings and reviews. More than anything, thanks for the time, guys. We love you very much.
We love you.
Hold your loved ones tight, man. Like anyone in your life that's good, hold them tight after watching.
Give him the keys.
Give them a little keys. Not a Kevin Spacey keys.
Not a Kevin Spacey
One
keys.
that they want and consent to.
Yeah.
That's super important.